Okay, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh to my students. So today I want to talk about chapter 6, starting a new venture. So basically for this chapter, we will focus on the main business form that appeal to new own venture entrepreneurs and their key features. Secondly, we will go through the key licenses and permits to operate a business. And lastly, the key forms of intellectual property and its protection. So for the introduction, starting a new venture requires the entrepreneurs to make informed decision regarding several key issues that will impact on the entrepreneur's ability and capacity to extract the best potential from the target opportunity. Some of the key initial decisions include the form of business to register, the business licenses and permits required to operate and protecting unique assets or intellectual property that impact greatly on the company's competitive edge and ability to make money. That means what are your competitive advantage that make you different from your competitors. For the first section, we go to the business forms and governing legislation. So registering a business entity is a key initial step to creating a new venture to exploit entrepreneurial opportunities. To register a business, the entrepreneurs need to first determine the form of business or legal structure that best suit this entrepreneur's aspiration. So before you decide any legislation or any the type of the business that you would like to venture on, you must decide what are your business structure that really suit to your nature of business. And entrepreneurs need to know the implication of choosing one form of business over another form, particularly in terms of the ownership implication, share of profits and liabilities, management control, and continuity of business life. Okay, so basically the form of business, we have three types of business form. Firstly, we have sole proprietorship. Second, we have partnership, and lastly we have private limited company, or normally we call it as a syndrome business. So the registration of this form of businesses are governed by two key parliamentary legislations, namely registration of businesses Act 1956, Amendment 1978, and Companies Act 1965. Okay, Table 1 summarizes the legislation governing the registration of specific business form. So basically, for the sole proprietorship, it is governed under this particular act. Partnership is under this act, and the private limited company is under this act. So normally for the startup business or for the new entrepreneur that have minimal experience and knowledge to conduct the business, we normally go for the sole proprietorship. Okay, what is sole proprietorship? Sole proprietorship is a basic business entity in terms of ease of registration and relatively simple business structure and management requirement. Sole proprietorship allow only one person to be registered as the legal owner. That means you only have one business owner that you enjoy your own profit, and um, you use your own money to set up the company. This single owner is also considered the manager of the overall business, and it is often referred to as the owner manager. The size and scope of business is often relatively small, and as such the owner manager may run the business activity by himself or with the help of not more than 5 full-time workers. Okay, so normally for the sole proprietorship, normally they at the end of the company name we have enterprise. So the number of worker will be less than 5 workers. The sole ownership entitle the owner manager to all profits earned by the business. That means all profit will be enjoyed only by one person only. On the other hand, the owner manager has to also bear the entire business risk and unlimited liabilities. Unlimited liability implies the personal asset can be seized to settle outstanding business debt. death of the sole owner will result in termination of the business. Okay, next we move to the partnership. Partnership business form is involved two or more partner in a single business concern. The maximum number of partner allowed is 20%. That means the owner of the business can be 2 until 20%. But if you are conducting in a professional business such as the legal firms, architect firm or accounting firms, you are allowed to have a business owner up to 50 person or 50 partners. Okay, like the sole proprietorship, a partnership also allow the owner to manage freely with all profits being shared by the partners. And partners also bear unlimited liabilities. That means their personal asset can be seized to settle business debt. Okay, partnerships are encouraged to have a partnership agreement outlining details of ownership, entitlement to profits, and share of liability. Partnership agreements are not required by law but are very useful in case of dispute between partners. Death or withdrawal of any of the partner may result in termination of the business unless stipulated otherwise in the partnership agreement. So that is why if you are conducting a partnership type of business form, it's very important for you to clearly state whatever you want to achieve and whatever or the consequences that happen to your company, what are the impact to your to the partner. Okay, so the partnership agreement is very important for the partnership business. Next, we move to the private limited company. It is registered under Company Act 1965 and recognized as a Sindriam Berhad behind the registered trade name. Okay, so registration process is much more complex and costly, and registration has to be through a registered company secretary. They must have the company secretary rather than the sole proprietorship and the partnership. And among the key documents that the company's secretary must present for registration is a memorandum of association and article of association. So the memorandum of association outline how the money invested in the company is to be utilized, while the article of association focus on the laws governing in the internal management of the company. The private limited company can up to 50 members or shareholder. Control of day-to-day operation is in the hand of management team that may or may not be major shareholder. Okay, so for shareholder, we have a major shareholder and the normal shareholder. Okay, the shareholder can indirectly affect operation decision through representative in the board of directors. The BOD consists of representative from the major shareholders, key members of the management team, and company secretary. And a key role of a BOD is to ensure shareholders' business interests and investment are effectively represented in management direction and decision. Okay, next, the private limited company registration render the business as having its own life separate from that of the life of the shareholder compared to the sole proprietorship and the partnership. The what we call it, the profit or any debt that belongs to the company slightly will affect the personal asset of the partner. But for the private limited company, it is separate from their personal life. Okay, as such, the company is a legal person able to bear its own liability arising from the business operation. This means that business asset can be seized to settle outstanding debt or other legal claims. The individual shareholder is liable only to the extent of his investment in the company, but his personal asset cannot be seized to settle company debt or claim. Since the life of his company and shareholder is separate, the death or withdrawal of any shareholder has not affected the life of the business. So this is basically the summary between a sole proprietorship, partnership, and the private limited company in terms of the ownership. You can see here for the sole proprietorship, we only allowed to have one owner, and partnership 2 until 20 in partner, and the private limited company up to 50 shareholder. And then in terms of the share of the profit, only one, and then depend on the amount of investment and so on. So you can read this is the summary that I mentioned just now. Next, we move to the section 2, business licenses and permit. While a business registration brings a venture into existence, the new business needs various licenses and permit to operate legally or to carry out certain business-related activities. Okay, so the licenses needed are basically divided into two categories, namely general business premise license and signboard license. Okay, second, we have special licenses and permit. For the general business premise and signboard licenses, a business in Malaysia needs to obtain a business premise license in order to begin operation in a particular location and legally erect a signboard for the business premise. Both licenses can be applied for the relevant local authorities. For example, like we have MBSA for those who conduct their business at Shah Alam, and DBKL or anyone who conduct the business at Kuala Lumpur. Premise license application often need to be accompanied by the premise certificate or fitness document via department support letter and premise rental agreement or a sales and purchase agreement. Signboard license application need to be accompanied by a photograph of the proposed location of the signboard and sample of signboard design and color. So it really depends on the location that you would like to put your signboard. For example, like in east coast of Malaysia, such as Kelantan and Terengganu, if you want to put your signboard there, you have to include the Jawi writing. Tulisan Jawi must have in that particular signboard. And also, if you use a female as a model, the model itself has to cover their aura properly. Okay, so that we have a different what we call it the rules for each location where you put your signboard. Okay, next, special business licenses. Some categories of business require special licenses to enable them to carry out a special business operation. Businesses involved with manufacturing, construction, and wholesale are among the business requiring special licenses. So, if your business involved with any of these three, for example, like manufacturing, construction, and wholesale, so they are special business licenses will be take place. So this we have table 3 that summarize the example of special business licenses. For example, like if your business category is under manufacturing, for example, like a manufacturing license required for manufacturing business with at least 75 full-time employees, apply for license for MIDA. So if your manufacturing company have at least 75 full-time employees, you need to apply for this license. Second, we have wholesale, retail, trading, and import and export business. So the special business license involved is WRT, wholesale and retail trade. It is under Ministry of Domestic Trade and Consumer Affairs, or also known as a KPDNKK. And then building and construction business needs a specific license from Construction Industry Development Board (CIDB) to undertake any building and construction activities. So it depends on the country that your business. This is example from Malaysia. Okay, the business permit is allow business to undertake certain business related activities that are regulated by governing authorities at either at the federal, state or local level. Okay, let's see the table 4 that summary the example of business permit. For example, like if you like to have a foreign worker, you must have the foreign worker entry permit, allow a business to bring into country worker from other countries to work in their business operation. This is based on the federal government, which country that they allow the worker to come in. And retail sales event will allow a retail or wholesale business to advertise and conduct a sales of goods at prices below normal retail prices for a specific time frame. Okay, next we go to the last section, which is protecting intellectual property. So intellectual property is a business that has invested time, money, and intellectual capital to produce something unique or different, has the right to protect the outcome. The outcome are considered as a company asset that are able to keep the company ahead of its competitors and lead to greater money making capacity. For example, like you design the packaging and then your business logo. For example, like you can see McDonald. If you can see Fontra, the capital M with a yellow color, you know that it is McDonald. For example, like KFC, for example, with a red color, and they show KFC and got a logo over there. All of them are categorized under this. They registered their logo under the intellectual property. Okay, these assets are often categorized as intellectual property and can be legally protected as patent, copyrights, and trademark or brands. Registering the company's intellectual property give the company the exclusive right to use the property and take against any unauthorized use of this registered property. For example, like Telco Siti Kharijah, so they have a certain design on the head, and those who copy the same design can be sued. Okay. Next, patent. Patent are used primarily to protect invention that represent a new way of doing things. Invention normally involves some level of technology and can be in the form of product or process. A registered patent gives exclusive right to the patent owner to make, use, and sell the patent product or process up for up to 20 years, because normally the technology um, can be relevant up to 20 years. It depends on the technology that they actually invent. Okay, a patent owner can still retain all right to the invention, but license another party to use the patent within certain agreed upon condition and stipulation. The patent owner can also choose to sell and patent to another party, hence severing all rights to the invention concerned. Okay, the patent rights are noted by the word patent followed by the patent registration number. Because patents take time to register, companies can deter infringement by displaying the word patent pending or patent in progress. Even so, these deterrent have no legal impact until the patent is fully registered, and they still will given the patent number. Okay, the copyright are used to protect a wide range of original, creative, intellectual, or artistic work or authorship. This can include original work of art and literature, music composition, audio recordings, drawings, sculpture, broadcast, film, and computer programs. The idea behind the creative work itself not protected, and such as some else can use the same idea, but it must be insignificantly different from the from or composition, also as to not infringe on the existing copywriting. The copyright can exist up to 50 years after the death of the registered author, and normally they have this symbol that shows that they actually registered their copyright. Trademark or brand are any distinctive name, mark, symbols, words, shapes, and color. A trademark is sometimes also referred to as a brand to indicate a distinctive representation of a company. In Malaysia, it is not compulsory to register a trademark, but a company can still rely on common law to protect against infringement or imitation. Symbol used in indicate trademark include R, indicate an unregistered trademark, and TM to show registered trademark. Okay, so if your business you think that your nature of business need to register this intellectual property in Malaysia, you can go to MIPO, Intellectual Property Corporation of Malaysia. So for the international protection, if let's say you would like to penetrate your product to the international market, maybe you can go to this World Intellectual Property Organization. You can register under this particular agency, and it is also a United Nations agency based in Geneva that represent mainly patent protection agreement in over 100 member nations. So Malaysia, one of the member country. Okay, so this is the references for the slide. Okay, so before we end today's lecture. So this is the tutorial that you need to submit based on the business that you use for your social media portfolio assignment. What are the business licenses and permit involved? Okay, so please refer to the section number 2 that I mentioned just now, business licenses and permit, that significant to your proposed business for your social media portfolio assignment. And where you can submit this assignment, I will provide you the link where you can submit the this tutorial. Okay, so thank you everyone. Assalamualaikum.